Hello and welcome to my summary of the first look at Phyrexia All Will Be One, and we'll be going through this pretty fast because there is a lot still. These are the dates that are important, so we'll be starting at the half of January approximately, and then the cards will release, there is a lot, sorry, around February, so that's like half a month of pre-releasing, and the story again will be in 5 days, so I guess there will be 10 or maybe 12 or something stories coming out as well, and then the previews will be a lot longer with 8 days. Then as well there will be a commander deck and stuff like that coming out, but notably there is also a Magic Con and a Pro Tour coming up, and the complete bundle will be released later, which I found interesting. Again, these are the products that will be released, or as they have said at the first look at the set. These are their prices, and then as well you see the price per booster. So the cheapest, of course, being the draft boosters. Then the set boosters will be a little bit more, but the complete bundle will be approximately the same price as the set boosters per pack. So I would say that will be the best buy actually. So you would have to wait a lot before buying your bundles at least. I don't know what the price for the single packs will be, but this does seem like the best option. As well, this is not really the price per pack, but it's because you get 2 extra mythics that this becomes cheaper. So with only the packs, it will be. I will shut down my camera. Keeps shutting down. But with only the packs, it will be 666. So that is pretty fun, 666. And with the extra mythics, if you count those as a pack per piece, that will be 571. The price may differ, of course, but this is what it says right now on Amazon. Then they also released new lands, which will only be available in the complete edition. So that's another reason to wait with buying, actually. Then also there is the one of the 6 versions of Alice Norn. So this is pretty big news. The new creature. She is a 4/7 with Vigilance for 5 mana, which is already good. But then as well, she doubles your ETB effects and also stops all ETB effects from your opponents. So yeah, more on this card and the abilities later. But the real complete product lineup is this, and what is added to it is a pre-release pack, welcome boosters, commander decks, 2 of them. So one for the Phyrexians and one for the resistance, basically. And secret lairs, 3 of them. So Alice Norn will be the main character of this set. Her card is pretty insane. Like I said before, she doubles your ETBs and stops those of your opponents. So this will instantly kill some of your opponents for just 5 mana. But also it will be a combo piece for yourself. So some of your competitive decks will not have any use anymore after this card, basically. Then there will be other versions of cards, the Ichor cards. I will get into Slowbat, Rip, and the Fraction Obliterator later. But these are like inky versions of your fractionized completed creatures. Then Koth will return. This is one of 10 planeswalkers, and this is a rare one. And he is in the resistance, it has been revealed. He kills creatures rams in red for 4 mana, which is really good. And then in 3 turns he ultimates pretty game-breakingly because he has a landfall trigger where he deals 4 damage to any target, and that's an emblem, so it will stay around. Really good and really cool that he returns after staying on Mirrodin for so long. But there will be 10 planeswalkers, like I said, and they revealed that 5 will be completed and that Koth will not be completed. So, for example, your Jace, your Nissa might be completed, and I think, if I have to guess, it will be either Jace or Vraska, but Vraska is a little bit too on the nose, so I think Jace will be completed, then one of Kaido or the Wanderer, and then I think Kaido will be really cool. But the Wanderer is also pretty logical because it's such a big turn. And then for the other 3, I think it will be Nahiri. I think the Luca will be pretty logical as well. And then maybe Tyvar, I guess, because he is well, it seems logical for him too. There will also be alternate arts for every non-completed planeswalker and every completed planeswalker as well. So we can get through that. Here we see Jace with the swords that can gather sparks. So that is pretty interesting. Maybe you will give that to the Braiders. Then Kaido's pretty cool. He is pretty much already a robot and he has the his spark in a robot as well. But I think this is too strong for the Phyrexians actually. But might be true. Too strong because they have a robot spark then. Then Kaya, I think that looks pretty cool, but she doesn't seem too completed actually, so I'm not sure about this one. Luca does need an update, so I think that will be one of them. Then Nahiri also doesn't seem too completed actually, but she has swords as arms, and I think that's a bit too much, maybe. Nissa is really metal, but she would have to forsake her nature and stuff. But as she knows how to talk with the souls of worlds, that is really strong for them as well. Then we have Tyvar Kel. Looks really cool because he's so strong. I think this will be real because it has changed so much. Vraska, yeah, seems too much on the nose, like I said, but really cool with those underground creatures. Yeah, so maybe she will be. Then the Wanderer, I think this one will be really cool, and she has been fractionized here in semblance to Elish Norn, which seems very plausible. Koth will not be completed, and you can see that there hasn't been a lot that has changed, so I think that is pointing us towards somewhere. These anime versions, these manga versions, will be done for many other parts as well. Then we have these, so this is the 3rd or 4th right now, different style for Elish Norn at least, and these will have all the new Braiders in their concept art. Then there will be a Phyrexian version of Elish Norn, and new news, the Zenith cycle will return as the Twilight cycle, so one for every Braider, and this one lets you take control over creatures, and they have a flavor text which says what is inscripted on these monuments of the Braiders, probably something that tells us about why they are revered so much by their followers. Then Fencer is completed. This is a pretty big one. He has been completed a lot. I think this is a very different version of him. But yeah, a corpse puppet. So he is dead, but he is a puppet, which is cruel. Then we have Slowbat, who has been completed as well. He already lost his limbs, but he is a really strong card. As a rare, he can give you a lot of mana in red, and that is something they really want to do, even though you have to sacrifice artifact, but you probably will want to do that in those decks as well. Yeah, and he got a new body, so he's bigger. Phyrexia Obliterator has been reprinted, and here we see that the Braiders are now fighting amongst each other, and what their explanation for this is that they have now conquered so many new lands that they will have to divide who gets which land. So that's why they are warring amongst each other right now. Then there will be some rebels as well. There will be 4 rebels in the set. This one not too strong, but Jorkadin is returning. Then their general info was that Phyrexia is winning, and we see that in the lands as well, where they have sort of all of their houses in these lands. As you can see here, also the new swamp, mountain and forest. But of course, I think the plains looks the coolest because this is the mummy set. There will be full arts for these, with all of them having a Phyrexian symbol in the sun of their color. Then there is the Kaldheim land set, and they did this because they saw that it was very popular, this art style, so they wanted to have it returned. Then there is a new foiling process, which shows us just the fractions in symbols in there, and it is not really new because they did this for Kamigawa as well. But this card doesn't seem too pringled, so I'm very happy with that. Then there will be universes within, and this was the update for the Phyrexia set part. So if you only like that part, I want to thank you for watching. We will be going through these cards a bit right now. So these cards will be from the Streetfighter set, and they will be turned into more Magic the Gathering style cards because they promised to do so, and I think it's really good that they're doing this. They will be in 1 out of 24 set boosters or so I think they can't really promise this. So if you would test, let's say 240 set boosters, you might get a lot from the same batch and they might not have these. So I think that's why they can't really promise why they said or so. But yeah, we have already seen these cards, but I might be going through them more of the flavor side. But here we see a creature that says you assign toughness rather than its power, and of course he's working with those big, chunky, cow-like creatures. Then we have Phyrexia, a training creature, and well, she seems to train a lot, I guess. It is the mommy set after all, let's keep it at that. Then we have Aisha of Sparks and Smoke. She has sparks, I think, in her red hair, and then maybe smoke in her white hair, something like that. She has prowess, can gain first strike for not too much mana, and when she deals combat damage, you may cast a sorcery spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage. Without paying its mana cost, of course, otherwise you could have already cast it from your hand. So, strong effect. Pretty logical that we see a sort of mage creature here. Then we have a human beast warrior. This is one of the abominations, I think from Innistrad they are usually. This is a 5 mana 5/5 with haste, and they have trample as long as you've cast 3 or more spells this turn, so sort of a combat creature, which is logical from the Streetfighter set. And when they become the target of a spell, they get +2/+2 and deal 2 damage to each opponent. So they want you to combo, but also strengthen your own creature so that it becomes bigger, but also deals a lot of damage to your opponents. Then we have Immard, the stormcleaver, someone with an axe that has lightning around it. When he enters the battlefield or attacks, you put a charge counter on it or remove one from it. Okay, so you can review or remove one from them, and when you remove a counter this way, so you probably will alternate between the 2 effects, you deal 4 damage to any target, which is pretty strong. I guess 4 mana for 4 damage is not good at all. That should be 2 mana. Or they gain lifelink and indestructible. So 1 out of 2 attacks, you will get to deal 4 damage. I don't think this is too good. But we have Maarika, Brutal Gladiator, a 5 mana 7/4 that must be blocked if able, so they will probably kill someone. But they also have indestructible as long as it's your turn, so they will probably kill your opponent's creatures and it will probably survive combat. And whenever they deal combat damage to a creature, if you do excess damage, so a sort of trample, but then your opponent have to sacrifice a non-creature, non-permanent. So kind of the attrition game here. Then we have Tadeas, and we have one more after that. He is a 4 mana 1/3 with reach, and they have hexproof unless he's attacking. So he's a sort of nature mage that protects itself with those 3 bark things. And whenever a creature you control with reach attacks, so that is usually of course a defending keyword, untap it, and it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power this combat. Okay, so he can only be blocked by 1 damage creatures. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control do combat damage to a player, which will happen with him probably, draw a card. So reach tribal, that is really interesting to me. Then we have Sethi, Arcane Blade Master, a 3-mana human soldier with multi-kicker. That's how they introduced her as well. Zethi still has multi-kicker. When Zethi enters, you exile up to X from the multi-kicker, I think. Instant cards from your graveyard. Yes, put a kick counter on each of them. That's pretty cool. So she kicks a lot and she does those whirlwind types of effects. Then whenever they attack, copy each exiled card you own with a kick counter on it. That's really good, I think. So for 5 mana, for example, you can exile 2 instant cards. And then when Zethi attacks, you may play them again. I would probably also choose something that can protect her, maybe. But otherwise, 2 big instances. Now we have some info about March of the Machine as well. These will be the products there. Nothing new, honestly, except for the commander decks. There will be 5, so maybe we should do another giveaway with that. And that was it. So thank you for watching if you pulled through all the way, and have a nice